Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been so long, but I'm back. So I just went on an amazing trip to beautiful Belize with my favorite company, EFUB Ultimate Break. They do travel around the world and I'm going to tell you about it more in this video. And the experience was very unbelievable, had to put that in there. But anyways, I cannot wait to tell you, but before we get started, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let's go. So I want to kind of tell you guys a story about how I ended up in Belize and how I ended up hearing about this travel company called EFUB Ultimate Break. So EFUB Ultimate Break is a travel company primarily for people ages 18 to 29, and it's group travel. I should say if you travel just once with the company, you can be a repeat traveler and travel till you are 33. Awesome! So take full advantage of that. So my journey to getting plugged in with EFUB Ultimate Break was, I was just searching for travel companies and primarily group travel. For me, I don't want to really do things alone. I would rather be in a group and safe travel all around. So I was just searching and I stumbled upon EFUB Ultimate Break. They have ads everywhere on Facebook, Instagram. You'll run into them someday. And here, of course. And I'm like, wow, this looks like way too good to be true. Is this company legit or is it a scam? So I hopped over on YouTube actually to get the real perspective on what people are saying about this company, and that's why I want to do the same for you in this video. And my experience was amazing, unbelievable. But yeah, it was truly incredible. So I was looking on their website and I am actually an ambassador for the company, so that means I promote their trips and I promote the company to my social media here on YouTube, also Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Those are primarily the ones I promote on. So please check me out. I will list my social medias in the link below. So a little backstory about me is I've traveled a lot with my family. I'm from India, so we've gone to India. I've traveled a lot through my church with missions trips, but now is kind of the age I'm like, I love doing missions trips, but I also want to just travel for fun. And since I'm 23, young female, I want to be safe when I'm traveling. So EFUB Ultimate Break has been the best option for me personally compared to other travel companies, and I will continue to tell you why. Ever since I heard about EFUB Ultimate Break, I'm like, when can I go? Like, let's go. But it actually took a while for me to go on a trip, but this trip to Belize really was just so amazing, and I'm so blessed to go. I work as a nurse, so I rearranged my schedule to be able to go on this trip. And it truly blew all of my expectations out of the water. Like, going in, I wasn't sure what to expect because it is my first trip. And I've heard my family, they have shared their concerns about this company with me and just going alone and not knowing anybody. But I would say you do talk to people who you are going with on a Facebook group. So you do know, even if you've never met them before, you do know the names of the people who are going, and feel free to reach out to them. You can like form a connection with them. For me, with rooming, I wasn't sure like who I would room with. I would have been cool with anyone, but I made friends with a girl before the trip and we decided to be roommates, so that's another way to ease the discomfort of not knowing anyone personally. So now on to a little bit of quick information about EFUB Ultimate Break. It's great. You really don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to do anything. You just have to really show up to the airport, have your bags packed, get on the flight, and then land to your destination. And have a great time, obviously. But they plan everything, basically. They plan flights. On the website, you can choose what time of year you want to go and for how long for certain trips. You can choose what airport you're flying out of. You can choose really optional excursions totally recommend them to add on to your trips. They're cheaper when you book beforehand than when you're actually at your location and want to do them. But EF takes care of hotels, flights, transportation. You have your private tour guide and private transportation while you're in the country or countries. Some meals are even included. I got absolutely spoiled on my first ambassador trip. A lot of the meals were taken care of. I am unsure if that's common in other trips. We got cool merch. I'll have to show you the towel I got. So I don't know about you, but I am not rich. I've saved up a lot, but I can't just drop money on a trip, especially if it's like $4,000 or more. So I do payment plans, and that's the great thing about EF Ultimate Break is you can pay over time. You just have to pay, I believe, around 30 days before your trip departs. And with payment plans, you can do bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, or monthly. Or there's a cool customizable payment plan where you can just pick when you pay, but you have to pay 30 days or so up to when your trip departs. So there's truly a lot of flexibility with payments. You have affordable payment plans that's like bi-weekly or monthly. You have the ability to choose and create your own payment plan. You can also add on top of your payment plan the sales they have going on. They have a banging Black Friday one that just ended, but it'll be around soon. They have like a midsummer sale. They have us ambassadors who promote the company. We have a special code. I'll link it below. Mine is UAKDE100, and this is for $100 off your first trip ever with the company. So I would definitely take advantage of that. And you just, if you're a repeat traveler, you can save money by getting, I believe, around like $250 off your first trip, and then it just keeps increasing. When you refer friends, you get money off. So it's really an affordable way to travel, and that's one of the reasons why I love it. Now, EF Ultimate Break is group travel. They do have Facebook groups beforehand to get to know your tour guide, your members on your trip, so that's a great way to ease any discomfort. I know I was a little uncertain about like getting on and off a plane, you know, and just not really knowing anyone or being stuck in a country I just wasn't familiar with. But I showed my family that too because they had some concerns, and it helped ease their discomfort, and I told them, of course, I would update them all the time. So now I want to talk about the trip itself. Belize is so beautiful. I can personally say I've looked over EF Ultimate Break site and all their trips multiple times, and I've skimmed over Belize, but I'm so grateful that this opportunity for me to go happened, especially now in December when it's super cold outside. It was the perfect mix of tropical, sporty, hiking, relaxing vacation I could ever ask for. We had so much fun. It was an all ladies group, and that made it just spectacular and so much fun to bond and just be young ladies for a little bit. Fun fact, Belize is the same size landmass as the state of Massachusetts. Wow, like that's so cool. And EF Ultimate Break, one of their hubs is in Boston, Massachusetts, so it's a cool connection there. Another reason to visit Belize is that you can get the mix of like hiking and tropical all in one location, and basically everyone there speaks English. It's great country to do your first international travel. And the currency, basically $1 is equivalent to 2 Belizean dollars. Basically their currency is just double what our standard US American dollar is, so it's great. Super great for doing like souvenir shopping or just meals. Good like ratios. A lot of things are affordable in Belize, and you can find some really cute things. I went during Christmas time, so they had the hotels decorated in Christmas, and it was very weird to be there without it being snow. It honestly didn't feel like it was Christmas time, so that's just my personal thing, but so beautiful. So this was my first EF Ultimate Break trip in general, and as an Ultimate Ambassador. So it's kind of a 2-in-1, and like I said before, I was absolutely spoiled. Nothing went wrong. I met so many good friends. I'll be traveling again later on with them, and I'm just so excited to share about that. Some preparation that we had to do, us travelers on our own, was buy the right clothing and supplies on our own, which I'll mention later. We had to do a COVID test about 3 days before we left and departed for Belize on our own time and money. And then when I landed in Belize, we had to fill out the customs form in the airplane while we were traveling. And then we had to have our documentation of a negative COVID test before entering into the country of Belize. And of course we went through customs and everything. After that, I was the first one to get there, so I went out to the kind of the lobby area where they have people holding up signs like waiting for whoever. But I saw my tour director and I was so ecstatic. I'm like, whew, it was just a sigh of relief because I was getting nervous. I could feel myself getting nervous. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I don't know anyone and I'm in a different country. But I saw my tour director. He was so kind and loving right off the bat. Shout out to Keith. I'll talk about him more later. We met some other travelers who got in a little later, and then we headed back to the hotel. Basically, the first day was just kind of like chill by the pool, get to know who you're traveling with, maybe grab a few drinks, just chat, have a really good time. The trip was only from December 2nd through December 8th, so it was a really short trip, but we packed so many things into the trip, and that's why EF Ultimate Break is amazing, because they basically planned our whole itinerary for us. We were all taken care of the things we're going to do in just a short amount of time, and we had a great mix of relaxation by the pool and the beach, and then participating in the excursions. So it was amazing. I loved it so much. So the first day in Belize, we went cave tubing. Cave tubing was beautiful. So we walked a pathway basically to the river. We got to learn while we were walking about the different trees, the animals. It was beautiful. It was really, truly a beautiful walk, and it wasn't too rigorous or anything. We had to actually cross the river. It went about even a little higher, to my mid-chest. Yeah, that was just a fun experience. Then we got to the place where we were going cave tubing, and we got some great pictures. A lot of this trip, since it was an ambassador trip, was primarily for content. So we got some incredible content photos. I'll post mine here when I can, and also in my social medias. Check them out because they're so cool. And check out EF Ultimate Break's Instagram site too. Our cave tube directors, they basically taught us about the animals like bats and the limestone, the different stalagmites and stalactites or something like that. Just a lot of really beautiful learning, going through and relaxing in the cave. So cool. I've never done that before, so that's something to cross off my list. The next day we went to Mayan ruins. Now that's a hike, literally. We went to Mayan ruins and we got to learn all about the history, and we were able to climb it and take pictures at the top. Well, we couldn't go all the way to the top, but the middle level. I got some really cool shots. It was so hot that day. In the pictures, I don't know if you can tell, but I was drenched in sweat. But it was a lot of fun. There was actually a stray dog there who did the hike with us, more athletic than me. Really gorgeous looking out. You could actually see Guatemala. We were right on basically almost the border from Belize to Guatemala. So really cool. Since our trip was a condensed version of the Belize trip for EF Ultimate Break, the actual longer 10-day I think trip on the EF Ultimate Break site, they actually do a little excursion to Guatemala. So that's another reason to book the Belize tour. You get to kind of cross out 2 countries at once. So really great photography opportunities, and just being able to kind of pose like a model and influencer. I had a really good time. It was really good to get out in the air and outdoors and get some exercise. We took a lunch break, then we went canoeing on the Macall River, like canoeing, kayaking. We teamed up in each boat with 3 people, and it was just really fun. I haven't done that in a long time. I've been before, but I haven't done that in a long time. We basically spent more like an hour and a half on the river. We were able to look out. We got to see monkeys, iguanas. There's so many iguanas. They're huge too. It's kind of hard to see them from the boat, but some like really stood out. They're beautiful, bright orange. And then we just got to enjoy being on the water. So really fun. Really good way to relax too. It was definitely arms and legs workout day.
Oh, let's just in the house.
Day after that was one of my favorite days. We went snorkeling, and we took a private boat out to our snorkeling sites. It was so wonderful. Being in the water is just something I crave, and I just love to snorkel. Snorkeling is beautiful. We didn't quite see what I was expecting to see. I was hoping to see a nurse shark or like not a manatee, but kind of a manatee. We saw beautiful fish. I saw a stingray and lots of little jellyfishes. We got to touch them. Some people saw sea urchins, just really cool things like that. We were in the water for, I'd say, a good hour. Beautiful, great temperature of the water. Really clear. You got really good visibility. I would totally do that again. I had so much fun. After snorkeling, we went to a private island called Mohoke. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But it was great. It was gorgeous. We were basically the only ones there. I don't know if anyone, I think a other boat was there, but still, I'd say it's a private island. We had so much fun. We had a barbecue on the beach. We were able to just really relax and unwind. People took naps on the hammocks and sunbathed. A lot of people were in the water. I was in the water the whole time. Got stellar picture opportunities. Got a lot of good content. Water was beautiful. Great visibility. Could see little minnows around. And actually, we saw some stingrays come up and try to swim by us. So kind of freaky, but super fun. And then we were there, I'd say about 3-4 hours. We could have been there all day. So that was an excursion that's not actually on the regular Belize itinerary. It's like a test. They kind of tested out the excursion with us. So maybe you'll see that on the regular 10-day Belize trip. And then the last day we had a private drum and dance lesson. That was a lot of fun. We had some local people come in and teach us kind of typical Belizean rhythms, and it was a really cool cultural experience. That was on our last day, and we were all sad to go after. So I want to touch on the hotels we stayed at. EF Ultimate Break really truly outdid themselves with the hotels. They picked them. They've been there before for different trips. All the hotels we stayed at had pools. It had great places to eat. They were all beautiful, truly tropical hibiscus flowers, and just kind of the landscape of the hotels and the views, really beautiful. A lot of the rooms were pretty spacious. We weren't quite all on top of each other, which was nice. Some people had 2 roommates, some people had 3, depending on where we went. My favorite hotel was our last hotel. I was surprised because that hotel, they only have single rooms, so you got your own room, which was really just kind of really nice. At the end of the trip, nice to just have some space, your own room. That shower had shower coming from the ceiling, so it's fun to shower in. That hotel was right on the beach, so beautiful. So many beautiful shots from the hotel and just the way they laid things out. We were able to swim in the water a little bit, not too much. We swam more on the private island we were able to get some great content for our Instagram pages and social medias. They had great food there. It had a swim-up pool bar, which was so much fun. We, after our day, out and about, we kicked it at the pool, had some drinks, had fun, lots of laughter, dancing, all that jazz. So lots of fun. Water was great temperature, great place for a honeymoon, honestly. If you were thinking of ever going to Belize for a honeymoon, that's an option too. Yeah, I have dreams about that hotel. It was paradise, truly. I'm glad, so glad I went on the Belize trip and did so many things in my time there. At one hotel, I think our second hotel, we actually saw a toucan. I was hoping to see one. We saw like a small one, but I was definitely hoping to see one. I think that's the national bird of Belize. So, check. I now want to talk about what to pack on EF Ultimate Break trip to Belize. Now, you're going to want a lot of swimsuits. We went at the perfect time. The weather was in the 80s. It's beautiful. Going to want a lot of swimsuits to model by the pool, the ocean, wherever really. So you might want a rain poncho. This is a rain poncho and it's unopened. So my mom suggested for me to bring that and I didn't have to use it. It rained kind of on and off. But I also brought an umbrella, which I didn't really use that either, but it's good to have. You're going to want a portable phone charger. This came in handy a lot on the bus. We had a lot of downtime just traveling to our location. The trips were about 3 hours on the road, so you're going to want a portable phone charger. You're going to take lots of masks with you. You're going to want your Pepto-Bismol anti-diarrheal. Thankfully, I don't think anyone got diarrhea or sick like that, so really thankful for that. Good practices when you travel is to not brush your teeth with the local water, not to drink the local water, not to eat salads, don't eat fruit you can't peel like bananas, oranges, those are okay, but strawberries, grapes, avoid. I recommend taking a really nice camera if you have one. I'm filming with mine now, but really nice camera just for those really beautiful locations you want to get really good pictures. Not saying your phone can't do it, but sometimes it just doesn't do it justice. Thinking of getting a vlogging camera later on to vlog more for my next trip, so stay tuned for that. You're going to want a GoPro if you have one. Totally recommend taking GoPro. This helped take pictures while we're tubing, videos while we're kayaking, canoeing on the private island. Just so much fun. So much you can do with a GoPro, and it's so compatible and tiny. You can really take it anywhere. Another thing I definitely recommend is having a underwater phone case. This will come in handy for all the water activities. I took it snorkeling. They have them you can buy there. This was one from Belize I bought. But I would recommend actually getting one just off of Amazon. That's better. Well, I didn't get into mine, but just good quality. You can take on multiple other trips. Definitely would recommend that. So when it gets dark out, bugs are, they are bad. A lot of people got just eaten up on this trip. And the bugs down there, they can transmit diseases like Zika virus that you do not want to take home with you. I recommend DEET wipes or good bug spray that has DEET in it. I used the bug spray. I actually didn't use the wipes, but recommend having both just in case. They came lifesavers. I just sprayed that all over me, basically wherever we went, just to be protected. I didn't come home with too bad bug bites, but I did come home with a good amount, but there are people definitely who had more than I did. Some other things that are good for an EF Ultimate Break trip is to have just really cute clothes for taking pictures, getting the content you need. I had some really cute outfits that I felt beautiful in. I was able to wear by the beach. They're in my social medias if you want to check them out. I'm glad I had the right medication if things did go wrong, if I did get diarrhea or sick. Glad I had medications for that. Glad I had bug spray. I'm glad I had my camera and GoPro with me. I bought this bag off of Amazon. It's for travel, and it was just my go-to bag on an excursion, so I didn't have to lug around my big tote bag that I took as a carry-on. I have masks in there. I didn't use all of them because they provided masks. For keeping passports or COVID card, your negative COVID test documents, I definitely recommend getting a passport holder. I got this off of Amazon, Lifesaver. It's just really cute. My style, can keep my COVID card, passport, anything else. I put airplane tickets in there, put my negative COVID test results in there. I want to talk a little bit about how COVID affected our trip. Like I mentioned before, we needed a negative COVID test before we entered into Belize, and then a 24-hour negative COVID test before coming home to the United States. Cool thing about EF Ultimate Break is that they plan where you get your COVID test in the correct time frame. We got our COVID tests in the time frame at the hotel. We had local people from, I think, a nearby hospital come. They came to the hotel. They were just catering to us, so we got our COVID test done. The cost of the COVID test is not covered by EF Ultimate Break. It is out of pocket, so that is something to keep in mind. I'm going to talk money in just a little bit. But we wore masks at all times, basically, at different locations. There's actually a fine if we don't wear a mask. We were able to take our masks off on the bus. So I'm now going to talk about money. I brought about $500 with me, and I kind of go big when I'm in countries, so I did spend a good amount. But I want you guys to be aware of what you need to designate money for, and if a lot of what you can buy is optional in terms of souvenirs. Big shout out to our bus driver, Charles. He kept our bus safe. We kept belongings in the bus. He was there just sitting in the bus. He was able to come to meals with us occasionally, but he was our safeguarder of our luggage and our passports and everything, things we could not lose. So thank you, Charles. Big shout out to our tour guide, Keith. He was so knowledgeable. I learned a lot on the trip. He was funny. He took care of us. He dealt with us ladies and getting all our model poses. Sometimes the look on his face was like, can we just go already? So basically, it's important to save some money out of your total money you're bringing to the trip to give to your tour guide and your bus driver. They just do so much for people, and they did so much for us. They provide us with safety, security of our bags, knowledge, humor, kindness, and just coordinated our trip. And sometimes some ladies of our trip had certain dietary preferences or allergies. He called ahead to the restaurants and put in their special order. He made sure people were getting well fed, but also in their dietary restraints. So he did so much for us. I learned a lot on the trip. Also saved money for the COVID test. Ours was about $65, which is a lot. They're making money off of tourism, in my opinion. And then a lot of the meals were actually covered for this trip. That's why I was so spoiled. But save money for meals. The meals typically range, I'd say like 10, average of 10 for each meal. And you can also add like drinks on top of that, desserts, whatever. And then I'm big on souvenirs, to save money for souvenirs. I got to do kind of my Christmas shopping while I was down there, so I kind of went a little overboard. Going back to COVID, I want to talk about the vaccination. I'm not going to talk about a whole ton because don't want to get, political in that sense. But for EF Ultimate Break, you do actually need to be vaccinated to go on their trips. That's typical for really traveling out of the country these days. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. But that is a requirement for EF Ultimate Break. For anyone who has watched this video or other videos about EF Ultimate Break and is thinking like, man, this sounds cool, but it seems too good to be true, I just say book the trip. Book the trip you've been dreaming of. I think everyone should get the opportunity to travel. Whether it's once out of the country or multiple times, there's so much of the world to see, so much knowledge and learning that can be done through traveling. definitely just book the trip. Feel free to reach out to me on my social medias. I would love to kind of walk you through the process of booking a trip. And for you to get $100 off with my code UAKDE100, it just helps provide comfort by talking to someone who's been on a trip and with the company, who knows kind of what to expect, who knows the feeling about getting off a plane and being like, oh crap, I don't know anyone. I hope, you know, these people take care of me and take care of me well so I can go home, just things like that. So kind of just an overall recap of EF Ultimate Break. They took care of providing a Facebook group beforehand, transportation, flights, meals, hotels, meeting friends. They took care of that too. Safety was priority while traveling. Affordability, I was able to afford this trip, which was allowing me to go on the trip. So they truly took care of a lot for me. They'll do the same for you when you book. There are 24-hour trip consultants that are available to reach while you're in the country actually, and also Monday through Friday. There are people at the Boston location who are able to answer questions, help you book. If there is a cancellation on your trip, EF will give you a period of time where they tell you and communicate that to you. They'll give you a voucher to use on a different trip. They'll keep you in the know because it's not fair for them to just like blow something up on you that you have no control and you lose money. So you'll protect your money. You can book a different trip, can be safe about it, and just have a really good time. My trip to Belize was a great experience. Nothing went wrong. I just had time of my life. It was like a vacation for me. I just met some great people on the trip that I still talk to today, planning to travel with them more. It was a great mix of like tropical, relaxation, sporty, hiking, activity trip. So it's kind of just a mix of both if that's what you're into. And I definitely recommend going to Belize. It's so beautiful. It's unbelievable. I think that's my third time saying that. Sorry. But you better believe it's going to be a good time. So watch out for that. I love this company. I had a fabulous time. My first ever trip. And as an Ultimate Ambassador, I had a great time just promoting the trip. We got a private photographer on our trip, which they got cool photos of like the group and also just me alone. I was able to do a couple interviews with them, so I'm hoping that maybe I'll show up on their website one day, so I'll keep you guys updated. So Belize was a great trip. I think about it every day. I look at my pictures, just kind of wishing I was there, you know, sometimes. But back to reality it is. I hope to go back, hopefully soon. So before you leave, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I just hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.